Spot on.
Welcome back once again to Smargs. I'm trying to get the hard Z in. It's Smargs now. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, that works as well because Stephen, Zach.
Exactly.
It's like we meant it. It's like we came up with this like knowingly, and we totally weren't going to call it something else.
We totally weren't. I am concerned. Oh! It's taken a mind of its own and switched you. There we go. Let's go with that.
Wasn't there an issue with that, like with the XLR being plugged into a different thing last time? Where I'm number 3 or 4.
There we go. It's fun. You'll be able to pick up most things, but yeah, weirdly it just went off you, but you're back in. I gotcha.
It's understandable. It's fine. But it's been a couple of weeks. I've had time to let my voice soothe and heal.
Yes. You bailed on me because you ruined yourself.
If it was just the ear infection, I could have come in. But I think it's only fair that we put the audio, the voice message that I sent to you into this.
Oh, yes, I definitely have that still as well. It's just on Instagram. That was funny. I could even try and play it just to see if it... Because it was funny.
It was funny, but it was painful.
We'll get into why I know exactly why it happened as well.
And it's pretty understandable. I think you'll agree.
So naturally, I am extremely enthralled by the idea of coming up
Oh,
with
no.
a gimmick for my GM.
No, this is you talking about your GM.
You're going into like the really deep cuts now.
God, we talk a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
It's disgusting.
I did not know that.
What's the date?
You're going to send the one with my mother's maiden name in it next.
Of course, the minor issue that this is what my voice sounds like right now, and this is the best it gets. So we really do need to hope that it gets better by Wednesday or Tuesday or whatever.
Sounds like you're trying not to die. Like you're about to throw up from the sound of your own voice.
But behind that horrible voice is the biggest smile on the planet. I don't think I've had a better weekend in my life. And the reason for that, as anyone listening to this is going to be aware of it because it's been everywhere. It was Money in the Bank in London.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's how I'm going to go about this.
Good. I was watching live on TV. So just to steal your thunder just quickly, because if you're going to get into being there, I actually was out playing basketball during the day. And just by chance, like, you know, because I knew I was planning to watch it at some point, but I was out with a friend at his place. I just remembered, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to watch Money in the Bank because it's live, it's happening in London. And he's a friend, we've never spoken about wrestling, ever. I've maybe mentioned to him that I'm doing a wrestling podcast now because he has his own podcast. Shout out to Free Cups.
I literally have
the boys. But yeah, and then we're just at his place and we was like, you know what? I could just stream it. I was like, yeah, chuck it on. And yeah, and we ended up watching Money in the Bank, talking a lot about a bit of wrestling. He's a lot younger than me. He's 23 now. I am 30. So yeah, we had a bit of generational difference. Like the first thing he pointed out that I found really funny that like I didn't really have much context was he was like, oh, Cody Rhodes' lisp got worse.
well, because he's kind of accepted it now.
And I was like, that's jokes. But yeah, let's get into it from your perspective because you also went to SmackDown the night before.
SmackDown, yes, yep. Lots of alcohol was involved. Got to meet some really great people. This is going to be more foreshadowing for the Gary Rose experience, who he was indeed there.
Yes.
But I think just to kind of give people a little understanding as to how it worked, I think they did something genius with it, which was they gave us like a little trial run of what a WrestleMania is like these days. You have the 2-day event. It felt very much so, especially with the 2 tag team matches, that they were trialing just the whole, here's night 1 of Money in the Bank. You've got your Asuka versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
Big match, even if it did last 2 minutes. And then you've got the tag team championship match, which was a fucking great match. And I've got to say, Pretty Deadly are brilliant. And they have the best theme song in wrestling.
I've seen little bits of Pretty Deadly. They seem pretty good.
They're good, and one of them's some Greys. That's where fucking Brandon's from.
That's jokes. So local. British wrestlers. Let's get it. steal the thunder from the Canadians, because my God, there was also a time where Canadians just dominated wrestling. So I think it's British people's time. You know,
Absolutely.
not that I care that much.
I mean, some of the best
But why
names in
not?
wrestling right now are British.
Exactly.
Will Ospreay missed 265 star matches from Dave Meltzer. Uncle Dave throwing out star ratings just because it happens in
265.
Japan. That's a story for another time, me ranting about Dave Meltzer.
Oh, yeah, we're going to Dave. Because I've been doing a bit of research on him, because you do throw his name around. I'm like, I know who he is, but I don't understand why it's that deep. But I'm getting there. I've seen a lot of interviews. I'm like, yeah, okay.
You start to form a picture.
Let's see his reviews of Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Well, it didn't happen in. But it didn't happen in Japan. So 4-star.
So let's get into it then. What was your highlight, except for the obvious highlight? Because there was some moments of Money in the Bank, and then there was the moment of Money in the Bank.
If the moment we're thinking of together, which there's a very good chance we're not, because big things happened at that show. This was not a house show. This was probably the second most important show we've had this year.
Yes. Yeah, it was insane. But that wasn't the moment I was talking about. Well, that's not. I know.
We're gonna
the
come to
moments,
it.
but I'm just gonna throw it out there because it does need to be covered. And it was just the fact that I was at my friends, and we were already talking about wrestling and legacy, and who the GOAT is, blah 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 blah. We just watched Cody and
Dom.
Which was a weirdly cleaner match than I thought it was going to be. Weird. Like, I was just like, oh, yeah, he just wins clean.
I think they knew what the fans wanted to see. We just wanted to sing along with Cody. We wanted to see the greatest heel in wrestling history, Dom. We wanted to see Rhea with her really good new look.
Oh, man, she looked fucking hot as fuck.
Divine.
God, that hairdo and everything. Their outfits were dope. Like, I was like, Dom and Rhea looking awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, then out of nowhere, to a somewhat, docile crowd that was, just waiting to see what was going to come up next.
Like, optimistically, but
comes the horns. And my reaction was immediately like, holy shit, John's in the house? I was like, wait, hold up. And then my friend immediately also got excited and was like, holy shit. I was like, damn. And I was like, fuck me. That pop. Just the reaction. It was like threefold reaction, because it really was like the horns alone made everyone just start like rattling and screaming.
Yeah. And it was such a big moment that instead of singing John Cena sucks, as we do every time, the crowd was singing along with the song.
Which I never even really heard like that. Like,
no one has done that.
No one goes, ba-ba-da-ba!
Your time is up, my time is now.
I was like, Jesus Christ, they're going in. But I was like, for you, what was the reaction amongst you and, you were with Gary and a few others? Like,
well, I was sat apart from Gary.
Did you not, like, look at each other and go, whoa?
Well, are we talking about the moment that
Yeah.
The moment that happened, I was appreciating the acoustics of the O2, because I was at the bar.
No.
I was at the bar.
Stephen.
Do you know how much I hurt? I came back out and I had, because I'm used to football where you can't take beers in. So I kind of thought to myself, they're going to do a quick promo package. They'll hype everyone up for the next match. I'll come back out. I'll have my beer. Good to go. The beer there's very expensive and they don't have the best selection, but they have a Camden Pale Ale. So that was nice. But I came out and I looked down in the ring. I was like, who's that? So I looked at the screen. I go, oh, it's John Cena. It's John Cena! And then I sprinted down up to my chair. And I've never been so in awe of someone. John Cena, I'm not just saying this because of what happened and because of the story he's had. He's the fucking GOAT. I don't care anymore. We are past this ironic sense of humor that we as a society have founded based on YouTube. We don't care about that. John Cena's the GOAT and we're going to respect him. If he wants to make fucking Peacemaker 2, if he wants to make the original Suicide Squad Part 2, if he wants to just copy Dwayne, just make really shit films, we're gonna back him all the way.
He also might not have much time left him. His body can't take it. He can't put on the same show. But he's still the GOAT. I'll agree. I was very reluctant to admit Cena was the GOAT for a long time. A very long time. Yeah, he's the GOAT. But yeah, that moment was awesome. Like, you know,
Unbelievable.
I actually rewatched the moment about 4 times just because I was like, holy shit, that was crazy. Like that was
happened.
it's like exciting to watch the reaction.
Because it very much was scripted, but it felt unscripted, especially the way he delivered because I want to bring WrestleMania to London. That felt like him genuinely speaking to us as a fan base and being like, back me up here, show them what I mean by this. And I've never ever just like in a crowd setting just gone so primal and so animalistic, just like screaming yes. It was such a good moment that if it wasn't such a great show, no one would be talking about any other part of it.
Yeah.
And I think something that kind of it's going to get lost in the shuffle a little bit because of how big the announcement was and how passionate and how great Cena was on the mic. Grayson Waller is fantastic. He is so good.
I don't actually really know this motherfucker at all. He's just some guy.
He's just an Aussie bloke.
Yeah.
But his character is everything we hate. He's an influencer. Women love him. He's good with crypto. And
is that kayfabe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No one's good with crypto in real
I
life.
was about what? We hired a crypto billionaire.
And then you teach him to wrestle later, but he's got the money. But I think because he came through NXT and he did the Grayson Waller effect. And the whole shtick of it was, while on the main roster, they've got him to get heels on and he'll just big them up. What he'd do on NXT, I believe, is he'd get the faces on and he would just ask them like the most damning questions on the planet. And because he's so good on the mic, it was really hard for them to kind of find out, oh Jesus Christ, this Aussie cunt. But he had banter. He came out and he was taking the piss. And like, obviously there was the bit where everyone was calling him wanker. He's like, trust me, I don't need to. And everyone's just
funny.
like, yeah.
That was. I was like, yeah, fair enough.
Everyone was. We were just like, yeah, good man. That's what banter's all about. Admiring when someone does it right. But aside from the angle of, yes, he's vying for WrestleMania in London, you could tell it was a London crowd just because as soon as Grayson Waller goes, I think WrestleMania needs to go somewhere with good weather. Everyone, boo!
He was not wrong. He's not wrong.
He's spot on. It's going to put piss down.
It's not a good time.
No, unless you
To
do
come
it in
here.
like June. And even then,
They can't mess with the rotor that hard.
No,
Surely,
they can't.
not even for WrestleMania in UK.
but is there anything more British than booing good weather? Just the simple idea.
Of course.
Beautiful women in bikinis. Boo!
Crazy.
He was made for English crowds because the rivalry between England and Australia, obviously, is historic. Two of the countries with the best banter on the earth.
Oh yeah, we're both hilarious.
Yeah, everyone else revels in our hilarity. That's why they fetishize us.
Because we're both two countries that are weirdly popular for countries that have a massive downside. You know, England has terrible weather and awful people. Australia is literally trying to kill you all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why people choose to live in both these countries. I live in one of them, and I don't know why I live here. So we're crazy people. Really.
We're yearning for freedom.
And I think it makes us funnier.
Yeah, because we're just cynical about life. We're just like,
We've accepted that we're fucked from the get-go.
this is as good as it gets.
Yeah, so let's just laugh. That's all we got.
Australia is proof that God doesn't exist. I always ask myself, why did God invent hemorrhoids? And why did God invent the trapdoor spider?
See, I feel like hemorrhoids he didn't invent. They're more of like a design flaw.
But he's omnipresent. He's omnibenevolent. He's
He could have stopped
omnipotent.
that. He could have patched it. So again, something else ridiculous. When I point these sort of things out to my girlfriend, because I did point this out to my girlfriend, and she just shook her head at me. I was like, "No, but look, do you not agree?" We'll just, I feel like that was the blackest crowd I've ever seen for a WWE audience. Not that it was black, but I just saw so many black people. Like during so many moments, I was like, yes. Not that I've never seen black people again, but there was a lot of black people.
It was a genuinely diverse crowd.
It was great.
It was people like genuine YouTube football influencers, like Expressions, were there, and it's like it makes you realise that in the UK, even especially for me growing up, because I grew up in that sort of ruthless aggression era, just after the Attitude Era. Weirdly, I feel like the Attitude Era was mainly white people, and then ruthless aggression came along, and then the black people got involved.
No, we were there. We were there from the Attitude Era.
But they
told you we adopted the Hardy Boys early.
Yeah, you did. Does Jeff still have the pass?
Just about. Like Falling from Grace is pretty black as well. I can't lie.
No,
especially to drugs. Come on.
Oh.
It's even that or killing a bitch.
Oh, Jay.
Cut that.
Ishan, keep it in.
So, I don't know if I want to like do a review of this Money in the Bank in general, or just Money in the Bank. As in, like, I do want to do both, really. But I'm like, what do we get into? Like, do we pick apart this Money in the Bank? Because like, I liked it. I really did. Maybe just jump to the highlights, and then we could just pick apart Money in the Bank in general. Because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna shit on Money in the Bank.
If we start with the opening match, so we start with the men's Money in the Bank, and then we can kind of just go through and compare it to what we know about Money in the Bank. Because, in honesty, I've watched the show back 1.5 times. I watched it the night after, and I watched it again last night. I got halfway through. Absolutely flew by. Obviously, I'm biased because I was there. It was in London. But it's a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Unbelievable show.
Imagine it's very intense and a lot going on, a lot to absorb.
Yes.
All the oohs and ahs.
And calling everyone a wanker. And the best chant of the night, the one that actually made Michael Coe be like, I can't hear you, because everyone's saying, Cody Rhodes.
This is my favourite chant of all time, which is, hey, Bailey.
Ooh, ah. The best one was on SmackDown, because on SmackDown I find myself like watching the big Titantron most of the time, just because it's so easy. And every time she was just trying so hard not to smile.
Oh, baby.
She is wonderful. I love her. Phenomenal wrestler.
I feel like, I can't lie, because I knew that was coming. I feel like they immediately pitched the spot was like, take Bailey out so they don't fucking chant. Like, just take her out. I don't even give them a chance to start, because they'll chant it the whole match, and we don't want the whole match to be, hey! So let's just take her out, and then they'll chant it randomly. And I think it worked perfectly.
It is genius booking. In the Attitude Era, they 100% would have kept her in for the whole match, and that would have been the whole match. But they know how to work around these things now, and it's about fucking time.
Well, like at the end of the day, it's a sign of respect, you know. It's like we're that excited that you've actually brought this here, and we're gonna fucking do our thing and show you how we enjoy wrestling.
But talking about the Bailey chant, that kind of gets me onto what the hot topic of the night was. And it goes back to good booking and getting her out of the match. And that was the first match of the night. What are your thoughts on LA Knight?
So, I'm like happy to jump on the LA Knight bandwagon. I can't lie. Like, you know, I haven't watched enough of him to be like, oh, he's the best. Like, oh, I like him. I do like LA Knight. I'm sort of one of those, I think, as a sort of controversial and, you know, I fancy myself somewhat of a creative in that sense of like, I can understand the process and why, you know, just because everyone's like, we love LA Knight, you're not just going to give him Money in the Bank, because then then everything forward actually won't be as entertaining or compelling. So I like the LA Knight thing. I'm not mad he didn't win. I think is what I'm coming to is like, I'm not mad he didn't win. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was on a recording of this podcast. I'm very sure I've called the events of Money in the Bank and what follows in terms of Damian Priest and it fucking with the Judgment Day. Did I not?
Was it you who said that you like the idea of like on the night of Money in the Bank, he's in the back with Finn, and he's saying to Finn, if he wins, I'll come in and cash in. I'll do it. But the idea that
he then
actually
like could
Finn
he
wins
could
and then
betray
comes
him
out,
and something like that
It's
happens,
great.
and it's like more or less like, you know, not play for play, but like that's pretty much what's on the cards right now. There's this
Yes.
tension that even if Finn gets the title and takes it from Seth, Damien's now in the background. We're like, but I want it too. I want Money in the Bank. Like, I'm not gonna not go for it. And it's like, yes, this is what I wanted. And it's like the Raw the other day that I loved. Like, I don't know if you saw it. The openings of Raw. Finn comes out ranting about Damien. He's bitching, and then Rhea comes out and shuts him up. And basically tells him like, we deal with his back. And oh man, it's so good. It was such an awesome moment because it was like, yes, like Rhea's holding Judgment Day together, and being like, we're not having this in the ring. Get backstage. Stop fucking moaning like a little bitch.
Also reminds you that her and Dom are actually still in the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
But it gives that family drama that wrestling really is.
I loved it because it's not like, oh, we're not just going to crumble the Judgment Day just because of someone winning Money in the Bank or someone becoming champion, which is a very obvious thing to do.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like it's too obvious that like you literally got the bloodline falling apart right now. You can't have Judgment Day falling apart at the same time. Too obvious.
It's much more fun to actually have them get over the adversity and actually become a pretty strong force when you have the opposite going on in the other brand. Numero dos.
So yeah, I enjoyed this Money in the Bank. It was interesting because I've been watching a couple before and I've been binging a few since. So I suppose like I was sort of reviewing it as I was going. I'm like, how does this compare to the other Money in the
Yeah.
Banks?
You got the constructive criticism brain on. You can't help it.
And obviously have that for both, you know, both the men and women's.
Which one did you prefer?
Women's, straight up. I actually thought women's was one of the
Best Money
was-
in the Bank match. Best
probably
Money in your Bank match.
one of the best Money in the Bank matches I've seen.
Fully agree.
I'd say this goes up there with one of the best. I was going to get onto that later. Oh. The camera doesn't want to work. All right. What's going on?
It's
here?
almost like this happens every time.
My reaction to Money in the Bank.
Yeah. So as for the women's, I agree. I think it's probably one of the best ever. But when I was watching it back, the men's one, I thought the same. I think it's kind of muddied by the really shitty Ricochet Logan Paul spot.
You didn't like it?
I mean, in person, it was incredible. And I absolutely
watching
thought
it-
they were going to break their necks.
So I watched it twice because I actually missed it live. So I rewatched it later that night. Then I watched it again. Yeah, it was cool the first time. It looked good, but I don't know. The fact that it was a bit of a botch, sort of. I don't know. I like that they played through the botch and that Logan bled for it. He bled for the spot.
It's always good when Logan bleeds.
And you know what? There's always things that I don't like, and there's things that I don't like sometimes are crowd reactions. And it was the after the little frog splash on Damien, and everyone's like, "You still suck." Did you join in on that? Did you shout, "You still suck"?
Yeah, I did.
You awful human.
He fucking sucks. He went to the suicide forest.
I don't.
Showed a dead body. He sucks. He scams people on the regular. He's a cunt. But by God, can he wrestle?
Like, that's what I mean. It's like separate the art from the artist.
The suicide forest was the art.
I don't really care. It wasn't even that deep. I really don't care.
He's dead. He won't mind.
Get over it. He's not the only person who's been there. He just happened to get a dead body on camera and put it on YouTube.
Just happened to.
Who cares? I'm not even getting. This isn't about Logan Paul, okay? This is about Money in the Bank.
Money in the bank.
And Logan Paul Money in the Bank was right. Wasn't amazing. I don't know. I found it was, and I'll get into like my idea of a good Money in the Bank and a good ladder match. But like, there were good spots, but it wasn't a fun match really. Like, I felt like they were sort of hoping to string it together with the with the spots. And I do have a theory on this as well. I do find, and again, I'll get into this later. Why I think it wasn't as good. Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, there was some good parts. Like the women's match to me was way better. I loved who won both matches. Like I said,
Agreed.
I actually annoyingly predicted both of them. Really, I was like, I think EO's got this.
I think everyone went EO. It was wishful thinking, but one of those that felt realistic.
I would have been annoyed if like Becky won.
Agreed. Love Becky.
Do love
Adore
Becky.
Becky.
She doesn't need it.
Not at all. And she would probably tell you that as well.
She doesn't need it.
There's a great match between her and Bailey waiting. And if it happens at SummerSlam, fantastic. I'm hoping that's why they were handcuffed together at the end. I hope that's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
They're
locked together.
That's
Bound. Yeah.
Fucking great ending as well. God.
That Zelina Vega spot on Zoe Sparks.
Zoe Stark.
Starks.
Zoe Sparks. My favourite indie wrestler. Joey Sparks.
Yeah, that bit was mad. That was like way better than the Logan Ricochet bit. I thought that was like, yeah, that's disgusting. Yeah. It's painful as shit.
I will say, in fairness, obviously, it would have been better if it wasn't botched. I will say that watching it back, Ricochet lands it fine. It's Logan who trips over.
Well, I think the ambition in the spot was that they could both land clean on the rope, but
yeah,
what
you
they
bounce
didn't
and then flip.
what they didn't plan for was that if one person lands first, the rope won't be there for the second person to land, and that's exactly what happened. And then in the panic, because also the ladder bounces off the rope as well, Ricochet he quickly acts, but he still like struggles to get his leg over to then grab and Logan's not even fully over the rope yet.
Yeah, he's climbing still.
But Ricochet realizes he has to commit. It's either this or he's jumping on his own.
Well, I respect that tremendously, because if you're able to like save a spot like that where one of you's about to tumble out the ring, but you're kind of holding on to him and just climbing on, it takes a lot of composure to say, nah, let's just go through with it anyway.
Yeah, just go. Just like all you got to do is tuck and roll, bro. Just jump, tuck and roll, and go through this table.
But
it
even
will still
then,
work.
I have a video on my phone. That spot, as amazing as it was, because of the angle I was sat at, it comes nowhere close to him doing the 450 onto the fucking ladder.
Oh yeah.
That's the best thing I've seen ever live. Better than the birth of my children.
But even that wasn't like, yeah.
He was ginger.
But yeah, like I said, it was fun. But match of the night.
Oh.
I said, what was match of the night? I'm not saying was that match of the night. What was match of the night
Yeah,
for you?
I'm having to think.
Was it the main event?
It very well could have been. It had a slow start, the main event.
Exactly what I was going to say. It was slow. I felt like, do you know what? It took 2 viewings for me to be like, you know what, this match was actually sick. And I remember because the second viewing, I was showing it to Olivia, and I was like, give it 5 minutes.
Give it 5 minutes.
Like, because like any wrestling match, you know, they try and do big things. Like, I think from the point when the Usos go for the double super kick, it ramps up. And it's like, okay, that was a cool tag, cool moment. Let's go. And then from that point, they found a good fucking flow, and it just had the moments kept coming. And what I loved about it was like poetic. The moments were like references. Like everything was a reference. There were subtle references and major references. And
the
I was
finish was a very, very subtle reference. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I've seen the clips.
Yeah, the first time Roman was pinned by the Usos with that spot. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
The stacking, the submission.
The stacking, yep.
The everything. There were so many cool parts, and I was like, yeah, that was great. That was a good match. That was very fun.
Yeah. It did feel like history to see that live. Like seeing,
yeah, I bet.
You see like Roman's promo, or when he was asking people to acknowledge him during his trial on SmackDown, he felt broken. He felt like less of a, not of a man. Who am I to call Roman Reigns less of a man?
He could destroy you.
I almost went into a talk about his teeth, but we're British, so I can't. But he felt like this impacted him, and that is all we could ever ask for from him getting pinned for the first time. I know a lot of people wanted it to happen when he lost the belt, specifically to Cody at WrestleMania. I would have liked to have seen Cody win at WrestleMania as well. However, this was a perfect way for him to lose.
But yeah, I think that sort of adds to it as well. I think, like, for me, a lot of this, him not defending the title for like 3 months was starting to get annoying. And they actually found a good way to basically transition. It's like, okay, well, it's a bloodline feud. That's why he's not been defending. So I was like, yeah, cool. For it to lead this way, and for actually like a significant point of it being, well, despite the fact that he hasn't lost the title match or lost his title in like forever, he's actually been pinned for the first time. And that's like almost like the chink in the armor that could also be the precursor to him losing the title finally, now that he's broken 1 million records. It's like, yeah, this is good storytelling, actually. This is not because everyone just wants him just to lose it to the person that they like the most, and it's like, no, like,
give it to LA Knight.
It's a process, and like, you know, this is about storytelling, and like just giving it to the person the fan liked the most next is not good storytelling.
No, when this storyline's been going on for coming up on 4 years, it'd be an absolute waste to just give it to
Cody or LA Knight or Sammy. When
I mean,
that's something I wanted to feed into as well, like how fucking fickle we've been. Because like since I've jumped back in, I've literally seen 3 people be the ones that this person should take it next. Like literally as I came in, it was like Sami Zayn better win this. Sammy is like, and I stupidly was like, oh, why don't they do that? And I was at the time because I was like, I didn't realize like where Sammy's actually sat in like the rankings and, you know, title contenders and like actually as a fan favorite. And I was like, yeah, that would be ridiculous if Sammy won it. And then Cody's back, and I was like, well, at that time, and I was a bit funny about that idea. I was like, well, he's literally just walked back through the door. We're just gonna have him just end this massive title reign just now because he's back and we like him.
In fairness to him, the whole finish the story angle, that was fantastic. And I think he earns the respect.
Sorry, it's just a meme now.
It is.
Finish the story.
It's the George Bush one, isn't it?
The 9/11 one fucking kills me.
Ishan, clip that. We got him. But also when he tore his pec and carried through the match, instantly I think star when I see that.
Yeah, no, he's deserving, and he is very deserving of great things. And we got plenty of time for Cody to get his flowers.
Who do you think should be the guy?
I don't know yet. Like, because now I'm like, well, I don't hate the idea of Jay doing it, but at the same time,
he doesn't feel like the guy. Like, he doesn't have that star appeal. Part of me thinks it's just because he's a twin.
There's only one way I like it. He beats him, but then goes a bit head of the table, tribal chief, acknowledge me instead.
Oh, because that's such a good way of keeping the story going.
And then, like, you keep it going for a bit, but then, like, have it not last as long and have, like, Jimmy snap him out of it type thing.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a fun storyline. Like, you know, Roman weirdly, like, broken from having, like, lost and actually losing thing, actually just falls in line immediately and is like, yeah, you're head of the table now. What do you... And, like, Paul Heyman, and, Heyman just bows to him, and like it's just all this weird moment. And it's just Jimmy just stood there like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this wasn't the plan.
What the fuck?
And then he's like, "Who's doing Oos? I did it for us, Oos." And then he's like, sort of like, "Okay, yeah, I suppose
I'm the one." That kind of shit.
And then you have a moment where like Jimmy just, I don't know, undermined him and convinced Solo like, this head of the family shit's crazy. Like, help me stop this. And then like Solo actually joins Jimmy.
Yeah, and then we have Jay and Broken Roman, because I feel like he could do that.
Yeah,
his acting after Money in the Bank was poor.
And then Jay can go be the main event Jay. They keep calling him.
Yeah.
Then you've got Solo and Jimmy, the new Usos. Add me to creative, man. I'm
in
sick of
fairness,
this shit.
they did tease towards. There's only one guy who's looking like a tribal chief to me. And then the UK fans, we got behind it. We were like,
Yeah, but it's not Solo.
Oh, Solo. It's not.
It's not, because he can't talk. The man can't fucking talk. I love Solo, by the way.
He is fantastic.
I've been. You can ask my girlfriend. I've been seeing his mannerisms at home.
What, you fucking... Ah! When she's not expecting it.
When he does that slap, like, ah! I love the way he goes, ha! At people. It's fucking hilarious. It's like so disrespectful. It's almost like the new, what? It's like, ha! Like, Solo's fucking great.
It's
I
even better
absolutely
because he
love him.
can't speak.
But
The
he
fact
can't
that this guy
speak.
who can't speak just does that to you. He disrespects you with noises.
Yeah.
It's
He's just doing
great.
these like sort of pseudo fucking Samoan noises. I don't know if there's a language. I don't know if he speaks it, but
Pseudo-Samoan.
so disrespectful.
Well, we were talking about where kayfabe come from. Pig Latin. We got Pig Samoan now.
Big Samoan now, like he doesn't
Ah!
speak. Huh? Like it's
And
great.
the elders are just saying it. Yes, well said, Solo.
But yeah, aside from my pitch to how to keep the Bloodline story going and have it also be amazing, yeah, match of the night. It was fun. Moment of the night might not necessarily been that. I'd say it actually was the Shayna Baszler moment because I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, live, that was phenomenal.
I was like, "What?" And like rewatching that again, the reaction is like just the moment it happens, you literally see everyone in the front and go, "What?" Like,
That was me. I was doing that.
what? Like, what the fuck? Like, they're doing this? We're doing this?
I expected them to put the belts on Raquel and
We
Liv.
knew, everybody knew they were going to take, because at the end of the day, it's almost like kayfabe and in real life, what was actually happening was just like, they only were holding the titles
because
whilst,
Liv was injured.
because Liv was
Yeah.
actually injured. And
I
she came
was-
back. Do you know what's funny? Because of the fucking delay and the Peacock bullshit, like, because I didn't really see that actually happen properly, it seems to me like she's been gone for like 3 weeks and come back and got the title.
Well, it feels like that to me as well. And I was watching live.
It's been about 3 weeks. I'm like, really? Like, she was injured for 3 weeks and she comes back. Like, I think it actually was like a month and a half.
It was a
like,
month and a half, but even then, that's kind of, if not for what we know now, I would have said that's really surprising. Why would you strip the belt off of them when Roman hasn't defended in longer than she's actually going to be out?
It's funny as well, but like, it worked well because it was actually like, it worked. I think regardless of plans, I think their plan was to like have whatever's going on with the tag divisions happen with Liv and Raquel, and I think they just got to restore that
Yeah.
and feed into whatever they were trying to do with these two, which I think was this all along, but it actually like worked out better because I was like, okay, now it's off the back of like a title loss and yeah, it's even more fun. Like,
We got a feud now, which is going to mean the end of Ronda in WWE.
I think I'm feeling like a Ronda sympathizer. I think mainly because I haven't seen all of Ronda. I'm like, why is everyone being so fucking mean to Ronda Rousey, bro? Like,
Because it feels like she doesn't give a shit.
it doesn't look like that to me. Like, it really doesn't. Like, I fucking loved her Money in the Bank outfit. I was like, look at her going marching Vegeta. Like, I'm a massive Vegeta fan, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, no fucking way. Ronda Rousey doing a fucking Vegeta reference to
She's
that
a
outfit.
huge
I'm like,
nerd.
yes, Ronda. Yes,
Huge nerd.
Ronda.
We stan.
At the end of the day, I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and watch it, but like, it doesn't look like she doesn't give a shit. And I feel like, I don't know. My assumption was sort of like people just hate her because she's an outsider. Because like she's up UFC and she's trying to get into wrestling. Almost like the same reason everyone just hates Logan Paul. It's not just because it's Logan Paul. It's because he's not a wrestler. He's not an OG wrestler. It's not his thing. He's jumped into it. Like Bad Bunny will allow. Or like I'm almost like closer to hating on the way Bad Bunny's done it over these two. But I didn't love Bad Bunny.
When Ronda came in, we loved her. We
you
were
said
so
this before.
welcoming.
Yeah, like you did like her, and she did well. Like she actually helped, sort of be a part. She was a part of like the new like women's revolution.
She the first women's main event WrestleMania. She deserved that absolutely. But as time's gone on, there's just been a lack of evolution in her in-ring ability, as well as the fact that she's just kind of. It always feels like she's phoning it in. She's not gotten better on the mic. The only thing that really hits hard in her matches is those sick ass arm drags. No, it's not the arm drags. It's the hip toss. The hip toss she does is phenomenal.
This is a judo champ,
Yeah,
judo
She's a
monster.
yeah. I've heard she's thinking of going back to the UFC. If she does, I hope she tears it up.
Actually, I heard she's considering going to NXT, like just going to NXT like for a bit.
That'd be interesting. I look forward to seeing it. But
Because I think this is like it looks like she's willing to put other people over. Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's what it's looked like. She's been willing to do the whole time, which is also like quite interesting. It was like she came in and the whole thing was almost like she's like essentially the female Brock Lesnar right now, where like she came in, she's from UFC, she's one of the toughest women of all time, like publicly. Not many people in WWE were able to beat her, so like it was a big deal that she just came in, took the title, and then it was like whoever beats her for the title immediately gets put over because they beat Ronda, and I was
Instant
like,
start.
and anyone beating Ronda gets put over because they're beating Ronda, and I was like, I feel like that's been her role, and she's done a really good job of that. So I was like, why is everyone so mad at her? That's what's weird to me.
There's been a lot more steps along the way.
Fair enough. Like I said, I'm a bit of a sympathizer. I liked Ronda Rousey before she was in WWE, and I've not watched her in WWE, and now I'm like, why does everyone not like Ronda Rousey, bro? It's Ronda fucking Rousey. She's a fucking legend.
She's a fucking badass.
Like, she's a legend.
But when it gets scripted, the hate becomes real.
Yeah.
Which is my analogy for wrestling. But
It's a good one. It's good.
there's room. There's room for her in it. But I think she needs to improve.
She got redeemed. Listen, everyone hated John Cena, and he's the GOAT.
No,
Like,
we all wanted to admit, we didn't want to admit that we love him.
all the greats go through moments where everyone hates on them. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean genuinely, like I hated John Cena. Like the Thugonomics John Cena made my fucking skin crawl. I fucking hated this guy.
You should have seen the internet wrestling community in like 2011. I was a part of that. The vindictiveness, the hatred. Oh, it was good. It was so good.
You fed off of it. You woke up in the morning.
the
it's like,
moment-
how can I hate on John
Where is he?
Cena today?
Fruity Pebble son of a bitch.
Even The Rock. The Rock got hated twice in his career.
Well, actually, I think The Rock was a big part of the transition to liking John Cena. Because the first year at WrestleMania, everyone was on The Rock's side. Of course we were. But then we realised he was writing his promos on his hand and he wasn't turning up to the shows. And I was like, this Cena guy's been here pretty consistently for 10 years.
Was that not part of what makes him great? Because as one of the GOATs, he helped create one of the GOATs. Yeah, I'm trying to people's eyebrow you right now.
I'm not going to look.
Because also, this is also a thing that Rock did as well. He put people over when it was time. When he knew he couldn't be the guy, he put people over.
But that's old Rock.
That's
And
always
old,
Rock.
old Rock.
For the record, do you know The Rock has never won WWE title at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Every match, he's had 3?
He's had singles that he's won, but he's never won a title match at WrestleMania.
He's had 3 world title matches at WrestleMania. 2 of them he lost to Stone Cold. 1 was in that really weird McMahon in every corner match.
Yeah.
I have no issues with Attitude Era Rock. And I would argue that the best Rock is 2003 Rock. Hollywood Rock is the best Rock.
Yeah. He was great.
Incredible.
I fucking loved that Rock.
I actually went through and I
It was
watched
funny
that
because
entire run.
He was supposed to be the heel, and it was just like, nah. To me, it was just like,
He's
nah.
so likeable.
It was always like there's 3 people that like, as heels, they just weren't. I never really just saw them a heel. It was just like it's just part of their character working.
Yeah.
And one of them is my personal goat, Kane. Like Kane as a heel isn't really a heel because Kane is never really a face.
Yeah. He's always in it for himself. He moves
The man
in
comes
mysterious
through.
ways.
He walks through fucking fire. When the man's not a face. He's never meant to be a face. Even when he came to save America, it was like, yeah, you fucked up now. We got a monster that's gonna fuck you up. It's like us It's like America dropping a nuke. It's like that's Kane.
We're
like,
dropping Kane on Hiroshima.
You know, The Rock as a heel to me was never really a heel because it was just The Rock being arrogant, which he always was. It's like he was always a
absolutely
dick.
always was.
So like, you know, even like the thing that made him the people's champion, being, you know, outspoken, annoying one and somewhat stupid in Nation Domination, like that was always his character. So The Rock coming out and trash talking a crowd that he normally played up to isn't any different to him being just The Rock. It's almost like it's just The Rock on a bad day.
It's him having the fun he wants to have on that day.
Yeah. And again, the same with Stone Cold. It's like the Stone Cold as a heel was never really a heel because Stone Cold's not really a face.
Oh, 2001 Stone Cold. He was a heel. Oh, he was a cunt.
But I feel like it was he was as unpredictable to the audience because like it was like at first he was like almost in-house unpredictable. Like he'd fuck with wrestlers, he'd fuck with like the people he'd wrestle and the people he'd feud with, and be unpredictable towards them. And then he did it to us, and that was heel Austin really. But I was like, but no, that's just Austin. He just felt like I'm not gonna be the Austin you want me to be.
Yeah, it's like
which was always that's just pure Austin.
I don't like it when you do it to me. You can do it to them, but don't do it to me.
Of course, I was gonna upset us. I was like, but it worked. I was like, that's not really heel to me. Heel is like when someone just has to completely change their character, and all of a sudden they're like, "Shut up, you assholes!" And it's like, wait, what? This guy was like, I don't know, walking out with a chick the other week and was being super nice and trying to play up to us, and now he's calling us dicks. Like he desperately needs a character change, clearly.
Well, they did something smart with that with The Rock in the sense that when he came back in 2003, he came out and he's like, "Do you want to boo The Rock?" And it was like, "Boo!" And that's subtle genius because he came out with his theme song from like the year before.
It's done with us now. It's fine. We keep going.
It's fine. It's an audio podcast at this point anyway. He came out with the same song, the really good theme song, and it was sort of the same. He was bald now, still really cool, but it felt like it could go either way. But when everyone booed him, it felt like, oh, you want the really good new theme song? You want the really good promos? You want the Rock concert?
No.
Yes, we do. We do.
No, as in like, but he turned around and says no. Oh god.
Oh,
But, like-
we didn't know we were going to get that.
I feel like we're talking about heel change at this point, but like I will finish it on this. I was like, for me, a real heel change is like Kurt Angle, the Olympic hero turned into a scumbag. That is a fucking heel change. It's like because he was like almost like the other man of the people. He was like the actual American hero, and then all of a sudden he was just like, no, I'm gonna fucking destroy this fucking Mexican dude. Because I hate him. And everyone's like, but we like the Mexican. He's like, no, I'm Kurt Angle.
Racism!
I'm gonna be borderline racist now. And I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Bloke literally
Kurt,
came out and
what
says, I'm not a
happened?
big fan of the black people.
It's like that's a fucking heel turn. Like when the character that we not even because I hated Kurt Angle anyway, but like I hated him because he was like the goody two shoes. He was the good guy, and I was like, oh wait, what? Kurt Angle's gone crazy. I kind of like this Kurt Angle a little bit.
Wait, how many drugs is he on? I'll tell you what, though, I'm actually going to disagree with you on this because I think the joy of Kurt Angle, which sounds like a really, really weird video to watch, but it came from the fact that he came in and they knew he wasn't going to get over. You can't get a goody two shoes like an American hero over. So they just made him really obnoxious and really preachy. And when he came in, he was a bad guy. So I think that every time we've had to cheer for him, it's never because he's an Olympic gold medalist.
Have you watched his first championship win?
Was that the Armageddon one?
The confetti.
Was that the Armageddon Hell in a Cell?
I don't know. No. He'd won it before. His first I don't know. All I remember was like confetti falling from the sky, and like it was like America just won the Olympics again.
I don't think that was his first title win. Are we talking world title?
Maybe.
Nah, his first world title came. I'm gonna look like the world's shittiest smark if I get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Armageddon 2000 because he had
that arm over whoever at the end, like the match, the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
the match. Yeah,
it was the match.
Yeah, he just puts an arm over someone last minute after everyone passed out.
But
I haven't watched that match since I first watched it, and I still remember how it ends.
Yeah,
because I hate Kurt Angle that much when I was a kid.
Now you respect the fuck out.
I fucking love Kurt Angle. He might be one of the goats.
There's too many goats.
Yeah, it's like it's more of a Rushmore, but like I've got different Rushmores for different reasons. But like we'll get into that another day.
It's the multi-more.
Yeah, my multi-Rushmores. And I feel like we went off fucking Money in the Bank a long time ago, but
we're like 2 countries over at this point.
Yeah,
that's part of the charm.
Actually, I've always got my initial point already.
Well, we were talking about
I'm still convinced that wasn't Kurt Angle's initial first run. But anyway, first championship. I feel like the first one was with the confetti, and there's a moment, but we'll have to look it up, and we'll see who was right.
No, because I think the one you're thinking of was during the invasion.
No. Trust me, I remember that. I remember that Kurt Angle. No. His first win, because I didn't see it. I didn't see the win. I just remember because it was then from there that he feuded with Stone Cold. And that was then what we talked about before with him throwing the medals off the bridge, and like Kurt Angle still had hair at this point.
Yeah, but he had hair during the invasion. He
True.
had his head shaved.
But their
by
feud
Edge.
was way before Invasion. Like their first feud was before Invasion.
We're gonna have to do some research.
The bridge.
If you would like to write, we're not even on camera. I don't know what I'm looking at. If you would like to write in and confront one of the two of us, please do.
So about going back in time. So I watched the first Money in the Bank.
The WrestleMania 21 match.
Yeah, or 2021.
Yeah, the WrestleMania 21 match. Yeah.
Yeah. And I might even say that's one of the best matches.
Yes.
And I've got a reason. And this is the reason I was sort of hitting out earlier, but I feel like I need to get into it now because we've been talking for hours. Which is, I feel like it had a better flow. And some of the earlier, not just Money in the Bank, but ladder matches in general, the flow was there. It felt like they weren't just like clambering around, having one person pretend to go for the briefcase or whatever, in ladder matches, like until someone conveniently gets out from outside the ring because they've just been throwing everyone. Like, there's more. I don't know. There's just way more of a flow, and like what I also noticed massively is like when something crazy happens, like a holy shit moment, they don't always just like conveniently everyone lay out and just let the crowd react. Like I feel there's a lot more of that now, where it's like every holy shit moment is always followed by everyone being out on the floor for at least 10 seconds. Whereas like there were holy shit moments in the first two or three Money in the Bank where it's just like they just keep going. Like there's a fucking awesome like, and also I noticed most of the best moments from the first three all come from Shelton Benjamin.
Oh yeah.
All of them. He is Mr. fucking Money in the Bank. I don't give a shit about winning because he didn't ever win, but he is the OG Mr. Money in the Bank.
That's the most important part about being Mr. Money in the Bank. You don't win it.
Like,
That's why Ricochet is Mr. Money in the Bank right now.
He's Mr. Money in the Bank now.
He'll never win it, but I want him in it every year.
But I still say, like, even compared to, I don't know, obviously he's done some crazy shit now, Ricochet, but I still say, like, Shelton Benjamin might be Mr. Money in the Bank to me.
That...
From my rewatching, he's Mr. Money in the Bank.
The spot where he runs up the ladder and does a front flip at Mania 22.
Yes. And it's not just the running, because he did the running trick before. It's the spring and the height he gets. It's the fact that he runs up and like he's got no, it's not even. I don't think that's 22. It might be the third one. There's one CM Punk wins.
CM Punk won too. He won the fourth one and the fifth one.
Yeah. So I think it's like number 4. It's because I watched. I think that's the last one I watched. It's in that one where the ladder is against the rings, like going outwards towards the ramp, and he runs up it and then bounces on the edge. Bear in mind that edge is on the latter half of the ropes. Bounces on that and does the hugest flip, almost like a swanton bomb. And it's like, fuck me. Like, there are about 3 opportunities where he could have fucked that up, and he does it perfectly.
Because he's one of the best athletes that the WWE has ever fucking had.
Shelton Benjamin has a great career. Honestly, I actually didn't realise it, because not only that, I watched in the first and second Money in the Bank, he is Intercontinental Champion.
Yep. That era, 2004 or so to early 2006 Shelton Benjamin, before he was with his mama.
Oh, God. I forgot about his mum.
She had a heart attack on WWE TV. Why did they do this to Shelton?
Oh,
He was the guy. He had so much potential to become. You know how like you have that Chris Jericho in the early 2000s, right? Where he's not the guy. But you
Jericho
want to see
was one of the guys in 2000.
But he wasn't the guy.
Yeah.
You looked when the reason he won that undisputed title is because no one expected him to win the undisputed title. It was either gonna be Rock or Austin.
I wasn't Triple H for sure.
Well, he was injured, so they couldn't. But it would have been.
It was supposed to be Triple H.
It would have
100%.
They used to be, how quickly can you get back, pal?
I've seen so many like internet comment section arguments about when people are like, oh, the Reigns wasn't that bad. Triple H, so many people, he put Jericho over for undisputed title, and so people are like, he only did it because he was injured. I'm just like, I love watching comment sections, man. I don't get involved. I just read. But
watch from afar, and your mental health will be a bit better.
Going over the winners, because like, you know, we're talking about the fact that Shelton never won, even though like he was the guy they pretty much put in the match to guarantee it was going to be a good match. We need our holy shit, so put Shelton in the match. Will he win it? No. We just use him for oohs and ahs.
He'll get a good payday. He deserves it.
Which is why I'm going to get into the worst Money in the Bank ever, based on the winner. And we all know what the answer is to that one.
Are you going to say 2020?
No, 19. So, unbeknownst to me, I'm watching this one. I have no idea what's about to happen. I'm like, this match is aight. It's a bit like all over the place, but it's aight. And then that sound that usually leads to a you know, that blood curdling moment where you're like, uh-oh.
I know who you mean.
Or you're just like, oh, this is about to get exciting. And I normally have both of those moments, but this time I'm just confused.
Well, because I was hoping I would hear it.
And then
Money in the Bank.
And then I'm followed by just a feeling of just like, no, just pure disappointment and hatred towards, like, because obviously I'm watching it in 2023. I don't understand the context. Maybe this was an exciting moment for some people. But
It wasn't.
This fucking sucked when Brock Lesnar just walks in at the end of the match. I'm like,
takes it.
Let's just talk about this outside of kayfabe. Let's just appreciate what really just happened. 7 men. Or 6 men, I think, put on a show where you're wondering who's going to win, and then big name Brock comes in at the end, F5's one man, and takes the briefcase and goes on to, you know, have his storyline where he's going to, you know, become WWE champion. Which you're hoping for all these guys that have just put the work in for your entertainment.
Of course he beat a black man for that as well. We're just going to point that out. Of course he did. He always does.
And I'm just sat there like, what the fuck? Like, honestly, there's moments that I Googled. I'm like, I don't even need to Google this one because it was recent enough. I'm like, okay, I know that he goes on to win the championship.
Yeah,
and then
he beats Kofi.
And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Who thought that was a good idea?
We felt the same way at the time. Trust me. Even if it was someone who wasn't Brock, like someone who was an underdog, you would have been fuming. Imagine if LA Knight did that, and as over as he is, that would ruin his fucking push. But the idea that they seem to have had was just that, like, he'll get the pop, he'll come out, he'll get it.
Do you reckon they pitched it to him? They're like, do you want to come back for Money in the Bank? And he's like, nah. I'll come back and win it. And Vince's like, yeah, we'll do that. We'll have them all fight, and then you'll just come in F5 one guy. You're F5 Baron Corbin. Fuck that guy. And you'll climb up, and then you'll just walk out with it. Yeah, we'll do that, Brock. Deal.
How much do you want? 2 million? No, 3 million. Do it.
And it's like, what? What the fuck just happened? And everyone else is like, and like Vince intentionally pitches this to everyone who's in the match with Brock there. Like, Brock's gonna come in at the end. Does anyone have a problem with that? And he's there just flexing. Like,
yeah.
And everyone's like, no, Vince.
Mustafa Ali's just there like, I'm going to win Money in the Bank this year.
So I think it's my time. Like,
when he's in gorilla position.
I think, like, you know, they got the meeting, we're going to announce who's going to win. And he comes in, and like, you know, they've all been practicing a little bit. You know, they've had an hour to practice together. They're like, yeah, Vince has called his meeting. We're going to find out who's actually going to win this. We're going to... Why is Brock Lesnar here?
He's just doing his little hop in the corner.
Why is Brock... He's going to be in, like, another match, right? He's going to announce that he's going to be, like, headlining or something. Like, no...
So you know how he's not in the match? He's still not in the match, but he's going to win it. No, Vince, why?
It's going to be the twist no one's expecting. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'll pay all of you. Don't worry about it. And like,
you work for me.
Why am I getting slammed for a ladder? if none of us are gonna win this?
Because it's such good shit.
Because fuck you, I'm Vince McMahon, and that's Brock Lesnar. Look at him. If you had his genetics, I'd let you win Money in the Bank. this
He
year.
doesn't have a neck.
But you don't look like Brock Lesnar. So you're never gonna get the money. So fuck all of you.
And the worst part is
Go wrestle.
that was the top of Mustafa Ali's career. After that, he was doing Retribution. And if you don't know about Retribution,
I have no idea.
oh, we're gonna have fun with that one.
So that's the worst Money in the Bank. Now back to why I think number one might be one of the best. Because even though, looking back historically, it made sense that Edge was going to win it, it wasn't obvious that he was going to win it. And I feel like, genuinely, compared to what happens now, because like I said, I've gone backwards. I went back, before watching 2023, obviously, I watched 22, 21, 20. Actually, I think I went 20 for some crazy reason.
There wasn't one at 20. It started with 21.
No. There was one at 20.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
No, it started at 21.
What, the corporate building one?
The Hollywood one.
The corporate building Money in the Bank in the WWE Tower.
Wait. Oh, you're saying 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm not talking about WrestleMania.
So I'm being a silly goose.
I'm talking the year 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I understand what you mean now. Because, yeah, the first one's at WrestleMania. No. 2020. So I watched 2020 Money in the Bank, the event.
Right.
And then 2021, 2022.
Okay, yes. Now we're making
Now you're following. Okay.
Yeah.
So now imagine the quality that I'm referring to in terms of moments, quality. And genuinely, it's actually quite interesting because obviously I knew how Money in the Bank worked. I had seen probably 1 year ago, but so watching 2020 was like, okay, this is fucking surreal as shit. What the, like you understand, like, you know, again, let's look outside the kayfabe and realize this is a company who's desperate to never stop making money, even when there's a fucking global pandemic. They're like, listen, if you pass this fucking test, you could be fighting in this corporate tower. So I don't care. I really don't give a shit who's in this fucking match. Anyone can be in this fucking match.
As long as it's really, really silly.
As long as it's stupid as shit. And it was stupid and it was fun because it did feel like some, like, you know, Attitude Era, you know, hardcore championship level shit. We got about 2 minutes to a Langas off my pocket, actually.
Oh, God.
But yeah, the 2021 was fun. Like, I will say it was fun. I did find the throwing off the building part funny. Like, I thought, of course they're going to do that. Like, I'd have been disappointed if they didn't do a spot with someone being thrown off the top of the building. Come on. It's wrestling.
But how much better would it have been if after he's won the match, you just have a shot of Rey Mysterio on, like, you know, like the little window cleaning, like, little elevator things?
Okay, yeah.
If he just sprawled out on one of them, that would have been so much fun.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, played up to it. Like, you know, just had him, like, even on a car, like, just pretend he landed on the car. Like, and just have it, like, you know, fake dented. Like, it would have been funny.
But
Like,
have him moving, just so you don't have the implication that a man has just been thrown off a building to his death. Because they did that a lot.
because they had, like, the production value to even add fake noise. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to criticize the match because at the end of the day, they did. And, like, I give props to them as well, doing both matches at the same time, which I don't know why they don't.
That was brilliant.
I don't know why they don't think about some War Games, Money in the Bank mashup and do that for real
That would
in an
be good.
arena. Just throwing it out there. Add me to the creative. I'm brilliant. I get really high and I'll come up with the craziest. I'll out Russo. Not even McMahon. I'll out Russo. I'll come up with some fucking crazy shit, guys.
Could you imagine, like, if there was the rule that the men and the women can't interact, but they're in the ring at the same time, and they go like roll through each other's legs.
That's what would be even funnier. Like, actually letting them. Like, you know, this is a free for all.
So you're not even fighting each other, but fuck you, I'm gonna hit you anyway.
Yeah, like, imagine there's two people going for it, and like they just, like, you have a moment where two people that don't like each other going for each other's briefcases, and like they could leave each other alone, but then they end up fucking each other over. They kick each other's ladders over. I don't know. I'm just saying, come on, guys. Like, Money in the Bank needs something new because it is getting stale. I'm just throwing it out there. It's getting a little bit stale. You are done. You added women, progression, but you need something to make it more interesting.
As soon as they made it into its own pay-per-view, a problem arose.
It needs to be upped. The ante needs to be upped. It's like, I understand that. Actually, no, they didn't. No, they did. They stopped doing Hell in a Cell as that's my alarm, as a PPV because
a PLE. Thank you very much.
PLE now.
PLE, yeah, premium live event.
Oh God, it's still pay-per-view though, technically.
Technically,
Even if you are on the network. But my point being, it was like, okay, what's the peak of this? Well, let's just make 5 out of the 7 matches Hell in a Cell matches. And it's like, people don't want to be watching through a cell for 5 matches of a night. That's not fun for the crowd. Like, especially
when
the
they made
bigger
it
the
red.
arena, right?
when they made it red, it got really dumb.
So, just looking at moving forward, why don't we try and make it more interesting with like Money in the Bank? Because like even Elimination Chamber is getting old. Like it got old, but like Elimination Chamber was cool, but like it's almost like it's a stipulation that should have been used sparingly, like Hell in a Cell used to be.
Yeah.
It's almost like when someone said in Hell in a Cell, it was like, holy shit, we're gonna do Hell in a Cell. Even it's almost like why steel cage matches are actually interesting because they don't use them that much anymore.
Yeah.
It's almost like a steel cage come out, it's like, oh fuck, we're gonna get an interesting match for once.
They'll do it on a Raw or something because it's like they don't value the stake of it, but the story stakes of it is like you're gonna contain these 2 guys in a cell in a cage because nothing can contain them.
Exactly. It's actually, like, if anything, it's something you should start using for people in stables more. Like when cage matches, so then a stable can't get involved, and it's like, yeah, more interesting. The stakes are there. Add me to creative, goddammit. Like, I think about these things. God damn it.
If you get on creative and you don't book me to win something, I'm gonna fucking scream.
Well, I'll have you and Sami Zayn in a beard versus beard match.
No, don't. Oh.
Why, are you scared you're going to win? Anyway, let's have a pause for nearly an hour.
Nearly, I did not know it was nearly an hour. I'm going to be getting a 3rd crate. But we will be back. We are the Smarks Podcast. Smarks Podcast.
Adios, amigos.